That's an Arcana of 11.
11?
No, let's go ahead and do it 16.
16, okay. It's a sea chart, and as you're scanning it looking for islands, there are in fact many islands on the map, but you find that finding detail on the islands is tricky. However, as your eyes are scanning across, the more you focus in a particular area, the more detail you see. There are definitely magics at work in the map. It is just the surface of the table. You could set things on it. You could rest your hands on it. But there's a depth to it, just like the ocean has. And the more you focus on your vision on one area, the more features you can see on the ocean floor. To the point where you're marveling at looking at shipwrecks. But information on actual islands seems spotty at best.
But, so I don't see anything in the area, like, I don't see a lack of... Okay, so knowing that, what if I look for the lack of information in the area where this island is supposed to be?
I mean, you see the shape of the island there, but that's it. There's no actual details as far as what's on the island or whether it's inhabited.
Out of character, wasn't it not an island, but I think it is? Isn't it actually something undersea, but after an Akrikon stole that knowledge from me?
Yeah, it's supposed to be some sort of, like, whirlpool, right?
You're looking for the conduit.
Yeah.
That you spot, actually, because it's way down on the ocean floor. And it looks to your eyes as a vortex spinning in a deep sea trench.
Does it look like things can go through it both ways, or that it would just suck things into it?
It looks like you wouldn't want to get sucked into it.
Okay.
Definitely nothing's coming out of it.
Make a mental note of that.
What of this usurper priest, this traitor, I guess you'd call her? What does she look like? Do we have a name that we could follow her by?
He says not one that he would speak here. The usurper priests, in fact, even that is a misnomer. Calling her a betrayer would be more apt, for she was a sincere follower of Osprem, and the Fork lent its powers to her willingly for a time, but only for a short time, and only very, very long ago. It says the man in charge of the temple now is named Yashnars, but more information than that I do not have.
Is he a sincere follower of Osprem?
More information than that he does not have.
Okay.
Just the name.
I ask him if we determine that he is a sincere follower of Osprem, should we ask him for assistance?
He leaves that to your discretion.
We have a dinner meeting with someone. Would we be able to journey off through this portal tomorrow? Make sure we get all of our business taken care of together, since that's what we're getting out of this?
What he's going to do here tonight is teach you how to open the portal, and your time frame is your own.
Okay.
All right.
Very well.
I need to... Sorry, my attention is split because I'm uploading a map that I thought I had uploaded, but I hadn't. To my favorite website, immigrant.com.
Plus your favorite website was Fantasy Name Generator?
Well, I can have two favorite websites. What's wrong with you?
There must be a most favorite. There can only be one brick road.
Pornhub, obviously.
Okay. Tracks.
He says, which among you is the most adept at learning languages? Who has the deftest tongue for new words and phrases?
Probably myself.
He
I would just
teaches
use a spell.
Lucius a phrase in a language that not only has Lucius never doesn't understand, but one that he's never even heard. And it's long. It's 17 or 18 syllables. It's an entire phrase. And he makes you repeat it verbally until he's sure that you understand you can do it. Make me an intelligence check. Warlocks are good at that, right?
Sure. 11.
11.
Yep.
You're going to have to repeat this phrase to come back through the door. It's the key to open the portal on the other side. The phrase itself is magicked. It's a fiend's tongue from a type of fiend far older and very much unlike the minor devils and demons that sometimes walk Trennis. He tells you it is the nature of these words that if they are to be written down, they will be eradicated from your memory. If you do not remember them, you will not be able to return by the same door which you left.
Okay.
Is there a reason we shouldn't all attempt to learn it then?
He says it's the nature of the magic to want to be forgotten. The fewer of you that knows it, the fewer of you that is adept at speaking it, the better.
Oh, and Lucius absolutely wants to hold on to this.
How comfortable are you having rolled a 10?
I'm fine with it. That's an 11 brick road. Thank you very much.
Oh, an 11. Big roller.
Listen, I can't roll up. I can't roll above a 6 at all. Like I'm happy to have that right now.
Everybody's rolling poorly today.
Ugh.
Not me, I rolled 2 rolls and they were both pretty high.
My foresight die was real good, and then the other one was a 1.
Yeah. He then produces a small ivory box, opens it up, and inside are 5 tiny nautilus shells that are a pale pink in color. And he tells you that it's from a particular type of snail whose coloration changes because they exist in a part of the ocean where terrible fish hunt using magical illumination in a place in the ocean that is so dark that light cannot penetrate. These creatures have the ability to change their color to avoid the one hunter that can find them. And he demonstrates. He picks up one of the shells and begins rubbing it between his thumb and his finger. And the color of it changes as he does so, from a pale pink to a coral green. Just with the friction of his hand. And then it fades back to pink after a few moments. He says that while this nautilus shell is green, the portal will open and you must merely walk through it. What awaits you on the other side, I do not know.
I have a question. I have one question for you, Mr. High Priest, sir. Why have you not gone through the portal to try and get the staff or the fork, you know, the trident, because it's not a fork, but a trident yourself?
It's not the purview of the High Priest to undertake quests of this nature. He seems insulted that you imply that it is.
Lucius looks he looks very upset right now. He head and hands kind of deal, and he's like, "Why do I let him talk? Why do I let him talk?" Like,
the High Priest has far more important things to do amongst his duties. This is what adventurers are for.
Alexander is sitting next to Lucius, and Lucius is just muttering under his breath, "Talk. Why do I let him talk? Why do I let him talk? Why do I let him talk?"
Does anybody else have any more questions for this priest who is absolutely fed up with answering your silly questions?
I feel like these are good questions.
So he's given us the temple and the description of the fork.
Oh yeah, he's described the fork to you.
And a fellow named Yashnars.
Yeah, I asked him if he can give us the names of the people that he sent through before. Maybe some of them are still trapped on the other side of the portal.
He does. And you can just make up 10 or 12 names.
Yep.
I'll ask him if the fork has any particular magics on it we should be aware of.
He tells you that the fork contains all of the might and will of the goddess Osprem.
That sounds like a yes.
So is there like a command word to get those to fire up, or?
He asks you, coming from beneath the earth, where the oceans are strange and filled with unnatural waters. Whether you hold in your heart any animosity for the goddess of waves.
No, I don't think. I mean, we're not really on speaking terms, but I don't think I ever really felt any animosity towards Osprem.
He says, then it's very likely the fork poses no threat to you.
I just want to say I will be
Now-
very happy to get your fork back.
And Seeker from the other side just like makes a nod at him, like good job.
Lucius
Connor
is
looks
about-
very mad, though.
Lucius, what?
Lucius is about to admonish Connor, but he golds himself back for that.
If there's nothing else you have for the High Priest, then you are dismissed. He gives you the ivory box containing these 5 small Nautilus shells. And Lucius is good with an 11 intelligence check to remember the phrase that will get you home. This fiendish old language that desires to be forgotten.
Oh, buddy, I'm a wizard. I'll call him up across planes to get that word if I need to. I'll call Osprem.
Not as a wizard, you won't.
She's gonna put you on hold.
Osprem, we're doing you this big solid. Come on.
Imagine how needy that would be. It's like, oh yeah, remember that job you told me to do? I need you to help me do it.
It's like we're the day after the holidays when tech support gets a million messages for resetting passwords.
It's exactly like that.
Can you reset the password on the interdimensional portal, please?
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
I think I fat fingered it. I tried walking through the portal 3 times and then it closed.
What is it?
You gotta wait an hour.
I don't remember what my mother's maiden name is. I
Yeah,
can't
lots
use
of
the
power
reset.
component for the virtual private libraries.
Were you guys still going to meet with Kinzeros tonight?
Yes.
Or have you forgotten about
Yes.
No.
that? All right.
That's why we said we were going to wait until tomorrow to set out.
Gotcha.
Oh, actually, I do have a question for the High Priest of Osprem before we leave.
Is it a good question?
I think it's pretty reasonable.
So the answer's no.
I tell him that I'm specialized in divination, and I was wondering if he had any wizards in the service of Osprem that I could go to in order to learn a few spells that might be of use on the other side of the portal.
He tells you that there are no magics here that a man of your learning could control.
Any followers of Osprem in the city?
You're asking the High Priest of Osprem, who lives in Blue Worm, if there are followers of Osprem in Blue Worm?
I'm saying I find it hard to believe that there's no divination wizards that follow Osprem in the entire Blue Worm that I can't go talk to.
He tells you can talk to who you like, as long as
Right.
it does not interfere with the task he's given you.
All right.
And with that, you are dismissed.
When we're outside,
Yeah.
Connor says to the group, I think the problem isn't so much that I make things worse. It's that you guys don't stand up for yourselves.
No, that's not it at all. Lucius continues
now-
walking.
We have to go get a magic item for a high priest, which we're not going to be paid for, which you're also magically compelled to do it now.
I got the sense that like us using the portal was payment.
Yeah.
The magical portal that we had absolutely no other way. No, I'm not okay with you being magically compelled to do this, because he very pointedly told you, Seeker, that you're not allowed to come back until you get the fork. What if the
Mhm.
fork is not there?
Then we have to keep looking. It's just
Well, then
another
I guess-
mystery to solve.
It's like,
I guess it's time to start forwarding your mail off Trennis.
Seeker shrugs and then says that if I was to find out that the fork was actually on this plane, considering that the job that he gave me is to find the fork, I wouldn't have any problem coming back.
Are you sure about that? Because I don't know.
If he has given me two, if I know anything about the way magics work, if he has given me two mutually contradictory orders, the spell won't work.
I guess my only concern is this is awfully getting close to adventuring. I think we're at
This
like
is
40,
merely an
45, 55 adventuring investigating, and that's getting a little bit uncomfortable for me.
Seeker says, Alex, if you were told the other day that we would get hired to find the most magical relic of a god, wouldn't you have taken it?
Yeah.
That's a detective job if I've ever heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the
guess
kind
not
of thing.
The whole plane jumping thing just seemed like the shoving you through a portal without a way. That seems really adventure-y.
This is going to put Flumph Inc. on the map. Like,
Is it?
this is going to get us so much work in the future, and we might actually be respected by people.
We have the ear of the king. What? We need to be on the map. We have the ear of the king.
A pirate king. You live in king.
We
for like
have
3 days.
the ear of a king who doesn't want us on above board working for him.
Also,
Also-
immediately gave us a boss who is very aware that we might have killed one of our best friends.
Yeah,
And I find it good to have alternatives.
I'm just happy to be here, guys.
We know, Gus. We know.
we know
So-
you're happy to be here.
If I'm hearing this correctly,
Yeah.
you've made a powerful ally that you're a little apprehensive might be too powerful to be an effective ally. And so you've decided your next ally is going to be God.
Once again, Seeker's perspective on this is that if he doesn't come out of this with a profit, he'll eat his hat.
I feel like Seeker has developed a bit of a problem.
Let me put it this way. In Seeker's mind, he just got given a literal magical order to do what he needs to in order to get this job done. And he personally is planning on going to any wizard in this town and saying, hey, I consider that it would be in the interest of this job for me to get a divination spell. And he would not even be lying, because it is definitely in the interest of this job.
What spell are you trying to scribe?
I want to scribe basically the level 5 divination spells. Like, there's Contact Other Plane, which is incredibly appropriate for this.
Did you not select these when you leveled up?
The thing is, so this is a dumb wizard thing.
Yeah.
As a diviner wizard, you have a class feature that makes it so that it's more beneficial for you to learn other non-diviner spells,
Mhm.
because it's cheaper for you to scribe divination spells.
Okay.
So I picked spells that I thought would be worthwhile, and I then figured I'll find someone who has these divination spells and I'll scribe them.
Oh, okay.
I mean, 5th level spells are getting kind of up there, dude.
Yeah,
It's not that bad, because they're half for me.
No, I
Right,
mean like.
but it's still up to my
finding
discretion
caster.
is what spells are.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
okay.
if you're like, if you genuinely say like, hey, nobody has a spell, I'll just go, my bad. Like, I mean, I took my chance and it failed.
So you actually had to go and spend a considerable amount of time to make this contact in Dunfoss.
Yeah.
I'm going to say there's no way you can establish this in a matter of days in Blue Worm. The followers of Osprem that you find here that are going to have access to especially high-level divination magics are going to be clerics, just by the nature of things.
My bad then.
Now, once
It's
you
okay,
get to Sigil,
I wanted this major whatever it is city. I mean, they call it a city, not just a... I guess Blue Worm's a city. We'll see. Maybe it's smaller.
I do not think the High Priest is a fake creature.
Thank you.
I'm good
Well,
with it.
are we all
Glad
five
to
going to
hear
visit
your
King
metaphor.
Zeros this evening?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a non-zero chance still, right?
Gustavus, stop encouraging him, please.
You can never be 100% sure.
Gustavus, stop.
Meeting with King Zeros. He has the ship manifest that King Ten Sails wants. When you arrive at his tap house tonight, it's much the same as when you left it the previous night. It's just after the evening meal, so there were a lot of people relaxing, drinking, enjoying the music that is played in one room, but magically amplified into another room. And there's also these little side chambers that you perused last time that have his various treasures on display. However, today when you go in, instead of having the replica of the Adric's honor and its other various accoutrements, including the manifest, it's some completely unrelated adventure. Something to do with dwarven equipment and a stone golem and a suit of armor that glimmers like rubies. Probably a very, very interesting adventure indeed. That would have been a lot of fun to play, but none of you were there for that. And the meeting that you have with him, in fact, when you arrive, he doesn't even call you into private chambers. He just meets with you on the tap house floor for a very, very curt, but not disrespectful, not uncivil. He merely says that, regrettably, he has considered carefully the options and has decided to not go forward with the business you discussed yesterday.
What changed your mind?
He tells you that he would rather not say, and that if you'll excuse him, he has other business to attend to tonight. But please enjoy a bottle of the house wine on me. And he calls over a bottle of wine to your table.
And Lucius looks a little confused and is like, well, I really do think that we could at the very least know what turned you off of this course of action, because I mean, we've come all this way for one.
He tells you, and most assuredly, please understand that I hold Flumph Inc. and of course the King of Dunfoss in all of the highest regards. I hope I can be more helpful to your causes in the future.
You mentioned you had a task for us. Is that off the table as well?
He says it's his understanding that you've been staying at the Mad Metal premises.
Yes, although we'll be leaving shortly. We're on a task for the High Priest of Osprem.
He looks astonished and impressed. He says, well, then, you have much more important business to see to than anything the proprietor of an establishment like mine can set before you. And I wish you the best of luck in all of your endeavors. Enjoy the wine, my friends. And he steps away from the table.
Mm-hmm. And as soon as he makes it a few steps away, I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts and find out what his surface thoughts are, because I find him very suspicious.
Bear with me just a second. His surface thoughts are apprehension, but also relief. His surface thoughts are about hoping that you will have a meal and drink the wine and be gone from the premises before too much longer. After which, this will be concluded.
All right. And I relay that under my breath to the party, and then I say, something came up.
Do you think he think he might have issue with Tensales?
That's not the impression I was getting. I was getting the impression that we were a threat in some way.
Are you going deeper than surface thoughts here with the spell, or are
No.
we dismissing it?
No, I just wanted surface thoughts.
Are you just going to redirect it to Gus?
I'm not at all interested in Gus's surface thoughts.
Gus's surface thoughts are, and he's vocalizing
Usually
this.
coming out of his mouth.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. They're coming out of his mouth right now.
Spilling out of his stupid face.
Are that why didn't you go deeper?
because he would know.
Yeah.
There's a classic Simpsons scene that I love. It's a courtroom scene. I don't remember the circumstances, but Homer has this very grim look on his face. He's looking at Bart, and he says, he's thinking out loud. I know you can read my thoughts, Bart. And he just starts singing the Meow Mix theme song.
Yeah.
I don't mean to imply that that's Gus, but that's... What's next?
Oh. I'm a little irritated at that because who knows how long this business with the Contraction Fork is going to take.
I mean, we don't have to go. Like we were told that our time frame over going to the portal is our own, so we have time to.
But Sigurd Tensails is going to want to know what the hell we're up to, and if he tries to like,
Sigurd
Magically-
Tales is a month's march away.
okay.
Also, he left it to our discretion, so
And
he doesn't like it.
He can't sail to Blue Worm.
Yeah.
Oh
we
no!
get back through the portal and we tell him we got unavoidably roped into the high priest business. What's he gonna say? No, you didn't.
Better to ask forgiveness and permission.
What's next?
I mean, for him, yeah, probably, honestly. I think what we do is we have a nice, quiet meal tonight where we do absolutely nothing ridiculous or absurd or likely to get any of us killed.
Yeah, can I see a menu, please?
Gus raises his hand. Can I have some of that? Can I have a couple shots of that liquor? And I'm gonna give it to the people who didn't have it last time.
Sure, absolutely. That was what? Like 2 silvers
We all
a
had it
shot
last
or
time,
something?
Gus.
Lucius had one last time.
Lucius.
Alex doesn't want one here, having heard the descriptions.
No, you have to.
You don't have to have one, Alex.
Gus,
Yeah,
I can mix
I
my
was
own
gonna-
runoff, thank you.
Gus looks very dejected and sad. He wanted to get Alex to drink it.
It's just like when you go to Philly and like you tell the guy you don't want to eat the cheesesteak.
Yeah, basically, Alex has kicked a puppy, is what he's done.
Oh, wow.
I feel like it's more like when you go to sushi and you tell people you don't want the wasabi.
Yeah, that checks out. I mean, I love the wasabi, but
What's next?
Seeker, is the book still on the premises?
and I will cast Locate Object to see if it is.
And it absolutely is.
Yeah, I'll tell him. Yeah, it's still here.
Remember,
And
this is a 1-floor structure. So it's very large, but it's not tall. There's not another floor above you. And it's located in one of these central rooms. The public areas are the ones that are illuminated on this map. The dark areas are private chambers where Kinzeros lives in his servants' quarters, and who knows what else is back there. But it's not part of the tap house or his little adventuring museum that he has out front. But the book is back there somewhere.
Gustavus, I said what we should do is have a nice, quiet evening where nobody does anything dangerous or likely to get themselves killed, and we go and do the thing tomorrow.
What if he moves it?
He's likely already going to move it. And now that we've come back to it, asking after it twice.
what if we had just taken it without asking? And Seeker nods at the groans around the table.
I don't have a good answer for this because I feel like we did the correct thing in asking instead of immediately jumping to felony. But I hate that Seeker has been proven correct.
What are you going to do about it?
Let's worry about that on the way back. Like, we'll come back through the portal in however much time has passed. We'll see if that's changed any moods around here.
Worst comes to worst, by the time we come back, the rate we're learning spells, I'll be able to find wherever it is on this plane. Just teleport to it.
What's next?
Anyway,
Are we going to leave Mad Metal to his fate?
I don't see that we can make much progress on that.
Yeah, do we
honestly.
actually have any leads on that one?
I think
We
we
could-
only go into.
We could go into that house.
Yeah, go into the house. I think that's it.
Yeah, you're right. Do we want to? I mean, I feel like there's no way that you're just going to walk in there invisible and not immediately set off a million alarms.
All I'm saying is that we have, like, if we're going to do a crime, now's the time because we have ample opportunity to skip town again immediately after.
We do have the means to skip town, yes.
And if we're going to.
Lucius, do you think you could fly up to the roof? Maybe see if you can get your way down. Maybe I'm sure that the gate and all of the grounds are magically alarmed. I wonder if we could fly someone invisible up to the roof and have them sneak their way down from there.
Counterpoint, do you think you could carry me up to the roof, and then I could try to find his person?
I don't think he's going to be there. I think the best chance we can hope is to find some evidence of where he is. Assuming she's even involved, which is like a coin flip in my opinion.
I think that if he's not literally on the premises, the chances of us finding something that leads us to him is slim to none.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, Lucius, you can just make Let's Seek or Fly, right?
I could actually now that I can cast 4th level spells, I can make 2 people fly in one shot.
Uh-oh.
So we could both head up there.
Watch out.
Well, I can only make one of you invisible, but
I can make myself invisible.
okay.
So are we doing this tonight?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to get this done before we're going to skip town.
So the plan is to make Seeker invisible and have you fly over Stormling's manor, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And try to use locate creature?
Yeah, I'm going to use locate creature, and I'm going to ask, what's the name of our companion in town here? That it's his master. I'm going to ask him if his master has any, like, anything personal on him that we could look for.
I mean, he didn't have
locate object, yeah.
He didn't have access to any of that. Oh, that he's carrying, he wouldn't know. But yeah, you have access to all of his personal effects in his shop.
Tom
Yeah.
Wolf.
Yeah.
So, what, alarm is 30 feet into the air, so as long as you're higher than that, you should be fine.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Seeker. Casting locate creature from Mad Metal.
Yeah.
When you're flying over the manor house. It's a 2-story house, and like I said, it's smaller than the ones you're accustomed to seeing in and around Dunfoss. Especially after you leave the city proper and get out into rural areas that are still well defended by Dunfoss's military. The manor houses out there get opulent just as a matter of status. Space is more important than status here. This house is much smaller, but it still is sort of a status symbol because this woman's not using her land for farmland, and that does seem to be the main use of it inside of the city walls. So you're expecting, okay, if I get up over the house and the inside of this garden, the spell should reach pretty much the entire garden area,
Mm-hmm.
and then down into the manor. Here's the problem. The spell pings, and he's definitely inside, but he's much, much, much lower than you would expect, especially knowing that there is an aquifer that runs underneath Blue Worm. Now, I don't know if you've played Dwarf Fortress, but digging through aquifer is basically impossible. So down beyond where you'd expect a basement level or a wine cellar to be, or even a dungeon underneath the town, far below even that level, you're pinging Mad Metal. Hundreds and hundreds of feet away.
Huh. That's ominous.
Yeah.
And we fly back, and I say, actually, we might want to go in there looking for him, because there's some serious stuff going down.
That's pretty deep. Yeah, let's
Yeah, that definitely needs to be sus.
everybody suited up for this?
If I can take an hour break to get my spell back.
Are we doing
I don't
this
see any problem with that.
tonight?
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Are we ready to go tonight? Like, I've only spent a couple of resources. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
good. I've only spent a couple spells.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Like I said, if I could take an hour to get my spell slot back for the
Yeah.
Friday, that would be
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Go
that
ahead.
sounds good.
Take the benefits of the short rest,
okay.
and
How are we going to get into the?
Pick the lock. Dispel magic, whatever magic is on it, or pick the lock.
Hmm.
Or just climb the gate. What do you think's gonna set off the fewest alarms? I'm assuming we're gonna have to fight some sort of horrible constructs down there.
horrible indeed. Give me that fog of war. Okay, so as I described, the manor sits in the center of this garden. The garden is walled off by a wrought iron fence. It looks more decorative than actually protective. Like I said, it's not a wall, and it would not be impossible to scale. There are gates at the north and south edge of the estate grounds. The south gate is the one that you approached earlier today. It's the one that sits right next to her shop, where you had a conversation with her clerk. The north gate is larger, but it looks like it's for receiving supplies, wagons and things, where horses would come through. It's not a foot gate. Which one are you approaching, assuming you're going through the gates at all?
Do we still have that crate we were parading on earlier?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's trivial.
Let's go to the north gate and try to.
No.
What do you got?
We're not going to tell them that we're around. We're just going to break in, Gus.
Yeah, we already know he's in there. If we didn't, I would agree with the subterfuge. I think we just go to the south gate and see what we can do about popping it.
Okay. Well, you know that it's sealed by magic.
Yeah.
You're not sure what kind of magic because we haven't tried to identify it. Just
I
Can
can
I
try to suppress the magic with Dispel Magic, and you can try to pick the lock.
how hold on.
Yeah.
Let's just a little less complicated. I'm just gonna because like picking the lock and suppressing it's probably gonna set off any alarms anyway. And then I look at Alex and go, right?
Maybe. I was hoping I might be able to get a good look at it and maybe find a way to bypass any alarms in addition to the lock.
Okay. Well, if it's too bad, why don't I just climb over and like bring a rope so we
Yeah,
can.
let me get a look at it before we do that. But I'm fine with just going over it. It didn't alarm when we flew over it.
Yeah, and I'll tell Gus the way Dispel Magic works is it ends all spells on the target. If I'm able to suppress the lock, I'll be able to suppress any alarms on the lock as well.
the locking mechanism of the gate. It looks like it probably has a slide bar on the inside that's not meant to be opened from the outside. You'd have to be on the inside to open it. But
Can I do an Arcana to try and figure out what's going on with this thing magically?
Yeah, go ahead and give me that check.
Can I assist? I'm
Sure.
trained in Arcana.
Y'all are both accomplished magicians.
So that's an Arcana of 24.
So, not being able to see the other side of the mechanisms on this gate, you have to speculate a little bit. As soon as Nodal's done making his margarita.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I had my mute on.
Make one for me.
It's just water.
No, make a margarita for me. I don't care what you're making for yourself.
The manor's never unoccupied. There's always somebody inside that can do whatever needs to be done to open the mechanism. However, in case of emergencies, you're almost certain there is a command word that would unlock the gate from this side. And the only reasonable way to learn it would be to try to identify the gate. The problem with that is that identify is like level 2 magic or something. And there's no way this... Is it level 1? I thought it was 2.
That's level 1.
In a city like Blue Worm, where there are so many low-level magicians vying in competition with each other in various industries, you would absolutely expect a Master Artificer to have some kind of magic or trap involved with this gate if somebody attempts to target it with Identify. As far as the nature of the lock, though, it doesn't seem destructive. It's not going to hurt you if you touch it. It's not going to electrocute you. You don't see explosive runes or anything on it. It just seems as though it's keeping the latch inside, or keeping the slide bar inside sealed.
I like Gus's plan. Let's just go over the gate.
Hop the gate?
Yeah.
Hey Connor, do you wanna I'm wearing plate mail. It's be a little loud for me to climb over. I'll give you a boost.
Before you do that, I don't think it's a good idea for us to put anything touching the gate. Because I imagine if they're going to have spells to prevent Identify, they're also going to have spells to prevent people climbing over it. So here's a thought that I have. Which is, how about I use rope trick? We climb up the rope and hop over the gate.
Fine. I was just gonna say, like, is the whole fence magical or just the gates?
If we attempt to detect magic, does it seem like the fence is magical?
The gates are where most of the abjurations reside, because those are the parts that open. There's no point casting an arcane lock on just a fence.
Yeah, I think Connor, you've already got boots of Elvenkind. I say just jump the fence.
Yeah, if we're not getting that sort of sense off of it, seems good to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And almost, completely without fanfare, almost trivially, you guys managed to get up over this gate in one way or another. And landing on the other side, no alarms go off. Guardhounds do not start pouring out of heretofore hidden holes in the ground. There don't seem to be city guards on the other side that saw you. You just
You
now
started
standing
straight
amidst
down?
the gardens.
Okay, I have two suspicions, and I think one of them's nonsense. I'll leave it up to you which of the two is nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
One, this Artificer is just incredibly trusting, and we're going to be able to make our way down. Two, she likes it when people try to break in, because then she gets to take their stuff.
Three, they don't give a fuck about anything at the surface level, and all the defenses are down there, and this is actually, it looks like it's hard to break in, but it isn't, because there's the obvious ways in are just, all a facade.
Four, they protected against Artificers and Wizards, but not both.
5, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It occurs to me that, maybe if he's down there, maybe he was trying to steal something, and there's some defense that would require mechanical hands. And
We'll
that's
ask him
why
about it when we get him.
Yeah.
That's what Scrappy's for. Well, mechanical claws.
Scrappy does not have opposable thumbs yet, does he? Is that still like in 2.0? We're still in like beta Scrappy, right?
Look,
I think Scrappy can use an item, so...
He's got a dexterity and a strength score. I don't know what more you want from me, man.
So this conversation is taking place just on the other side of the gate?
No, we're whispering
that's
as
what
we're
we're
walking
moving.
across. Yeah, we're
So,
walking.
As you cross the gardens towards the manor, you can tell that the garden is somewhat overgrown and unkept. You're not sure if Stormling is just sloppy when it comes to her gardens, or if perhaps she just left a skeleton crew of servants who aren't able to take care of the entire grounds. But approaching the actual house of the manor, there are 3 main buildings. There's the house itself. Just off to the side, there's a very old structure that looks like it might have once been used as a barn. It's meant to be just a kind of bare-bones outdoorsy structure. There's no front facing door on it, so you can look into it and see that it's essentially just a junk shed. Piles of all kinds of things. But predominantly just raw materials. Wood, stone, scrap metal, things like that. Kind of dispatched haphazardly in this barn. Off to the right, you see an old well house. And those are the three structures that stand as you get to the center of the property. The main house looms above you, and there's a set of stone stairs leading up to the front doors.
Well, says it goes down, and maybe that's a way down.
Yeah, Alex, regarding what you said before about the fence being just a front, Seeker points at the house and says, "Trap?"
Yeah, probably. I'd check the scrapyard and the well house before I'd bother trying to do anything inside the house.
And Seeker nods. He's thinking the same thing.
And which do you check?
I want to start with the well.
Yeah, I think that Lucius's well idea made some sense.
Okay. Going over to the well house. The well itself is a stone structure jutting up from the ground on a very slight hill. And like I said, there's nothing ancient built here. 100 years ago or so, this was all just untamed land. So the well is in relatively good shape. Two things strike you as you come in underneath the covering about the well. Is first, looking into it, it's not filled with water. It's filled with sand. Lucius, right away you see it's not local sand. It's got this deep orange hue to it, the kind that you would see deep in the deserts of Romneus. The well itself seems to grow up and over the sand. The stone part of it rises up on the far half of the well. So it's this circular stone structure. The back half of it is taller than the front half and kind of looming over it like a hood. Looking up in this structure, you can see vague features that look like arms reaching down to wrap around the sides of the well, and a serene face peering down into it from above.
Are sand golems a thing?
Lucius, sand golems are 100% a thing.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
But no, that's sand from deep in the Romnean desert, closer to the wall of fire.
So it's highly elemental sand? Seeker says, narrowing his eyes even further.
Potentially, I don't really know that much about the deep desert.
If we think it's a trap, I have a spell that lets us find traps.
Yes, use
And
it.
Seeker just pauses at that and turns and goes, "What?"
You heard me.
He's been trying to use this since he first came in with Connor. Yes.
And Seeker just puts his arms out, and he's just like, "By all means."
Let us see this amazing magic of the woods, or whatever.
No,
Let's
I'll let
find
an expert
traps.
do his work.
Cast find traps. Yeah.
Okay.
The entire ground around us lights up.
That's actually not how find traps works. So... Connor,
Yeah.
there is a trap present.
Okay.
And Seeker looks at Connor. Well,
The general nature of the trap involves drowning.
Drowning. Huh. Interesting.
Where's the trap,
Oh.
Connor?
Connor would not say that. That's something that Florian would say.
let's try it out. See what kind of drowning they mean.
No.
No, I'm waiting for what Connor has to say. What does Connor tell us this as?
That there is a trap, and it springs some kind of drowning.
Mm.
Drowning.
Where's the trap?
You do not learn the location of the trap. As per
You know,
the law.
It's hard to say.
You know, they say you can drown an inch of sand.
I mean, that I can believe that.
They also say you can drown in an inch of well.
I feel like the wording of this spell, Find Traps, I feel like they spent months and months and months.
Oh, they
getting it
absolutely
right.
did. They absolutely did. It was a lot of arguing about what the spell should do.
Can you tell me what the word trap even means? Yes, I can, actually. They define it.
Oh.
But yeah, don't learn the location, but I learn of its nature. And I learn of the danger posed.
Now,
So
it
there's
being a trap, he knows for sure it was placed here specifically. It's intended to inflict sudden or unexpected effect that would be considered harmful, and was intended as such by its creator. That's the definition of trap as far as the spell is concerned.
Oh, that
It
just
could
gives
be
me so many
magical.
questions.
It could be.
It could be magical.
Could be.
Does the well light up magical with your magic eyes? What does your magic eye see, Seeker?
I mean, detecting magic, the well and the sand itself, though exotic, doesn't seem magical.
What about those ominous arms on the wall?
They just seem to be reaching down around the circumference of the well.
So, given that we know that that's drowning, here's my thing. Those arms reach up, grab you by the head, shove your face in the sand until the bubbles stop.
Well, here's what I think. I think that's a good thought, but I'm not picking up any magic around, so that means any trap here must be artifice. And Seeker makes a Vanna White gesture at Alex.
So Alex, stick your head in the well.
Do.
Hey,
You got
Scrap,
this.
go dig 5 feet deep into that sand and see what you find.
Give me a give me a strength saving throw on Scrappy's part.
Yep. There we go. Strength was okay.
This has been a session, let me tell you.
That's a 9.
I mean, I specifically set up 2 ways for you guys to learn the key into the portal, and you chose the third way that I didn't have planned, so that was fun. A 9?
Yeah.
Okay. Scrappy goes to dig into the sand, but when he does with his paw rakes through it as though it were water, not sand. That's how fine it is. And he topples forward and falls through and vanishes beneath the sand.
Oh,
Oh no, Scrappy's drowning.
Where are you all standing in relation to the well at this point?
I'd be about 10 feet away, maybe 15 from where the sand starts, something in
Same.
that range.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I'm
wouldn't-
crouched
you-
around next to Alex.
You wouldn't be able to see the sand. It's the sand unless you're standing up over the well looking into it.
Oh, the sand is only in the well? I thought the well was built into a hill of sand.
No, the sand is
No.
inside the well.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
yeah.
Peering down in the well, going, "Wow, he's
Yeah.
gone."
So, Gus, standing at the well, Scrappy leans forward to start digging the sand in the well. And finding no resistance there, digging in, loses his footing, being perched up on the edge of the stone, and falls in. And it almost makes a splash. But after Scrappy falls in, you start feeling more than hearing this like low rumbling bass emanating from the earth underneath the well. This thum, 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 thum.
I don't like this.
Hey, Gus, come here for a sec.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to use Gift of Alacrity on Gus.
What does that
What
do?
does that do?
He can add the D8 to his initiative. And he waves his hand, and lots of fairy-type magic happens.
Does
Like,
Scrappy,
he's like-
does Scrappy have a swim speed?
I do not believe so.
Okay.
Seeker hears the thumping noises.
Seeker
And he
doesn't
turns-
from his position.
Oh, okay.
You and Alex,
Yeah.
you were standing a
There's-
distance away.
There's no. Yeah. I thought it was
There's-
louder than that.
No.
There's
Okay.
thumping noises.
Gus is feeling them because he's standing right up next to the well.
Oh, okay. Then when Gus says that, Seeker turns to look at Connor and says, "Do you think there's a trap?"
I think Scrappy sprung the trap.
Do we have to go get him?
I think we do.
I mean, I can
How,
rebuild
how
him in
far
the
did he
morning.
fall?
I don't really have any special magical connection. He's not like a familiar.
Oh,
All right,
listen,
well,
Scrappy, if you can hear me, climb your way back up the well.
Give me a strength saving throw.
Sure.
for Scrappy.
That's a natural 1.
Guts, are you still standing at the side of the well looking in?
yeah.
In addition to the rhythmic thump, 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 you start hearing frantic scratching and scrabbling noises from against the inside of the stone of the well that sound like they're slowly descending away from you.
tell
He's
Scrappy to
gone.
get all the sand out of the way so that we can just descend down.
Oh,
Tell him to desand the well.
does he have your bag of holding on him?
No.
Oh, okay.
Since I actually made an actual bag of holding, his pack saddle doesn't need to carry a lot of stuff anymore.
Hey, maybe if you open the bag of holding and you dip it into the well,
We'll
can
have a
empty the well.
sandy bag.
we won't have no sand in
What's
the way.
next? Are we,
That's
are
how
we
the
throwing the bag of holding into the well?
No.
Hey, Seeker, you know that rope trick?
Yeah.
How far off the ground does that have to be?
Actually, that seems worth checking the spell for. I think it's 60 feet.
But it only goes up. You can't put it in ground level and drop a rope 60 feet down.
It rises into the air, unfortunately. I mean, we could just drop a rope if you want to drop a rope. Like, that's not magic.
Let me, yeah, give me a second here. Inventory. You know what? Yeah, I'll, what do I have that's heavy?
I have 50 feet of rope. Maybe.
Yeah, let's just tie an anchor around something heavy and drop it in the well for Scrappy.
Okay.
Maybe he can fall faster than he does. I guess the heaviest thing I would have would be like one of the tools off my smith's kit.
So like a hammer or...
Yeah, like a metal
chisel or
hammer should
something?
fall pretty fast.
Okay.
Gus, I want you to throw this down there as hard as you can. Scrappy, I want you to grab the hammer and climb the rope tied to it.
Okay.
Gus, when you pitch the hammer into there, it splashes into the sand as though it's water. And without the hammer, the rope probably would have just bobbed along the top, being too buoyant. But with the weight, the rope descends down into the well. Who's holding the other end of the rope?
I think we have it tied around the well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how heavy is Scrappy?
Did this come up before?
It did. We know that he can be levitated.
So you guys
500
watch
the
the
levitate?
rope go taut very quickly. Go ahead and give me another. It's going to be a strength check for Scrappy.
Athletics?
Scrappy has he's a badger, right? So he doesn't have
Yeah.
opposable thumbs.
Right.
I'm going to say athletics can't apply then, because athletics implies that you are.
So my thought is he could grab the rope in his mouth and then climb with his arms, but sure.
Sure,
Let's do
but
strength.
yeah, it would be brute strength on the part of an animal.
Once he grabs on, we can also just drag him up.
You could.
There we go. That's a 21 on strength.
And after a few moments, the rope starts to fray at the edge of the well, and your guys are tugging on it from your end, and Scrappy manages to pull himself up and over with the rope in his mouth, and he frantically scrabbles at the edge and gets his strong badger arms up over the side of the well and pulls himself up and topples forward.